Okay, so we're back. So now, in looking at this, very first step is to see if there's anything in common. What is in common with 81x squared and 9x? There is a 9x. Now remember how we do that. We look at the 81 and the 9, and then we look at the x squared and the x. So if I take 9 from 81, what does that leave me with? 9x minus 1. So then now, according to the zero product property, 9x equals 0, or 9x minus 1 equals 0. First solution will be x equals 0, or x equals 1/9. Now, just a little tidbit. Some of you might be able to jump to the solutions right here. You might start looking at some shortcuts. Okay, basically, this is a shortcut. You use the opposite of this number divided by that. And that will be your solution to that equation. So let's try that. Okay, remember what I said. The opposite of this number divided by this. So that one will be 3/4. Okay, another one. 5x plus 2 equals 0. Negative 2/5. So that's a little shortcut. If that works for you, great. If it doesn't, throw it out the window. You can solve it normally. Alrighty.
Is the first one always equal to 0? No.
Not always. Nope. And you'll see that right now. So now this one. Does anybody remember from last year what we did on these? If the number here is a 1, which it is, this is where I look at the last number. So I'm looking for 2 factors of 64 that add up to 16. 8 and 8. Now I have to figure out, how do you get a positive 16 from 8 and 8?
2 positives.
2 positives. So then now remember, what goes in the parentheses? X and X, positive 8 and positive 8, because what I'm using is I'm using these numbers here that I found. So now, do you understand that both of those are the same? So I really only need to solve one of them. Since these are identical, I only need to solve one. In which case, what do you get x to be?
Negative 8.
Negative 8.
I like those.
Okay. And that's actually what's called a perfect square trinomial. We're not going to do much with that, identifying those. We're just going to solve those that way.
Perfect square trinomial.
Okay, so now, with that in mind, I want you to try and solve this one for me. Okay, x squared plus 9x plus 20 equals 0. So let's go ahead. We have a 1x squared. So remember, I look at my last number. 2 factors of 20 that add to 9. 5 and 4. How do you get a positive 9 from 5 and 4? 2 positives. So now I have 2 quantities. The first in each quantity will be x. The next will be a positive 5 and a positive 4. Now some of you might have written it this way, and that's fine. That is perfectly correct. It doesn't have to be any order. Your 2 solutions should have been negative 4 and negative 5. Nice job. Okay. So let's look at another one. With that in mind, I want you to try this one.
Let's do this.
Okay? Try to do it. This is a little different because it's got the minus sign. Okay, so we're looking for 2 factors of 21 that differ by 4. That's what the minus sign means. So 2 factors of 21 that differ by 4 are 7 and 3. Remember, you get a negative 4 by negative 7, positive 3. So I'm going to start by writing 2 quantities. The first term in each quantity will be x. And then I've got a minus 7 and a positive 3. So if you go through then to solve, you should get 7 for your first answer, negative 3 for your next. And remember, you could have those in opposite order as well.
That's it?
That's it. Okay, let's go ahead and look at the very last one here. Here you go. X squared plus 7x minus 18 equals 0. Let's see how you do. Okay, so 2 factors of 18 that differ by 7. 2 and 9, you get a positive 7 by negative 2, positive 9. So x minus 2 times x plus 9 equals 0. Solving each of those, you should get positive 2 from this first one. You should get negative 9 from the second one. And those are your two solutions. So now, today's lesson is actually split over 2 days. Tomorrow we're going to look at what happens when x squared isn't 1, and when we would have something like this, 2x squared minus 3x minus 5 equals 0. Okay, and so we're going to talk about that tomorrow. So what you can do is this is your assignment to start with. Now this will actually be due Thursday. So tomorrow we're going to finish this lesson, and then that will be due Thursday. So 17 through 34, 37 through 41. I will tell you right now that tomorrow you will in fact do 35 and 36. Okay? So we will in fact do 35 and 36 tomorrow, but you won't be able to do that today.
So should we just write down 17 through 41 then?
You could if you would want. Okay, but we will continue with this tomorrow.
This concludes your lesson.